Arkham Asylum and Arkham City are two games that originate on PS3 and 360 hardware, so they seem like a more natural fit for the Switch. Both titles did receive a port to last-gen systems in 2016, in the Return to Arkham collection. This brought key visual enhancements over the 7th-gen console versions, here represented by their PC counterparts, running at high settings at 720p, like better materials and reworked lighting, facilitated in part from their conversion from Unreal Engine 3 to Unreal Engine 4. Not all of the changes were for the better necessarily, and some of the character of the Arkham game's visuals was lost in translation, but I think on the whole they were an improvement. The Switch versions of Asylum and City do not seem based on the Return to Arkham code, as they lack these changes. Compared to the PC versions of the original games, they are essentially a match in terms of basic visual features. Arkham City looks very similar to its PC version. The shadows are probably the biggest exception, as these self-shadows are visibly higher resolution than the PC code here. But the self-shadows do seem to exhibit some minor alignment issues at times, which I didn't notice on PC. The depth of field in the background of the city environment here is absent on Switch as well, and the game does seem to have some issues with texture loading, as high-resolution textures sometimes take quite some time to appear. The Switch version renders at up to 1080p here in docked play and up to 720p portably, though there's no anti-aliasing whatsoever. Dynamic resolution is in effect, with the docked mode usually coming in around 900p, though it's usually at 720p in handheld play. Arkham Asylum is a close match for the PC code here as well. I couldn't spot any shadow alignment problems or texture issues though, or any significant deviations from PC. Resolution-wise, Asylum is a match for City, with the same dynamic 1080p, 720p split, and similar typical resolutions. In terms of basic visual settings, neither one of these 7th-gen conversions is in especially bad shape, but performance is unusually poor. Arkham Asylum fares especially badly. Here the game is usually dropping frames, and often hangs in the mid-20s for extended periods. There's also some frame time inconsistencies that seem unrelated to overall performance. Asylum just doesn't feel good to play in this form, with totally inexplicable framerate issues. I really don't understand why this title is running so poorly, considering its 2009 vintage, and that it's mostly set in cramped indoor spaces. Weirdly though, in portable mode, Arkham Asylum runs substantially better, at least judged by eye. The game still drops frames frequently, but its framerate fluctuations tend to be more minor. Arkham City also has issues. This title suffers from framerate dips from time to time, especially in broad views of Gotham City or during combat encounters. There are plenty of one-off dropped frames and little frame time wobbles as well, but the overall experience is more consistent than Arkham Asylum, and decent stretches of the game do run at 30 FPS. Portable play feels about the same as the docked mode here.